What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Singing the Tea. I'm your host, Dustin, singer, actor Lewis. Listen, first of all, Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, all of those good things, y'all. It's good to be back. You know, Bravo gave us a little break. You know, we're going to dive right on into the things. But if this is your first time joining us, don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, share the family member, share with a friend, so we can grow our community over here at Singing the Tea, baby. Because it's always going to be what you want, and it's definitely what you need. And, baby, we're going to dive into this Married to Medicine, Season 12, Episode 5. Married to Medicine, y'all already know, is my favorite show on Bravo. Don't nobody do it like these ladies, and I just feel like they are just so underrated. Like, if you're not watching Married to Medicine, baby, what are you doing? So, let's go ahead and talk about it. The episode opens up, right, and it's the day after the pool party that Eugene and Toya had, you know, kind of welcoming everybody to their home. And listen, it did not go well with them two. Like, we can see it didn't go well. Toya did her typical Toya when it comes to Eugene. And I'll be real with you. Eugene kind of gave us a different energy this go around. So, I don't know. You know, but he understands where he could have done things differently. So, you know, he calls his wife up on the phone. He's like, hey, girl, listen. Baby girl, come on down here. I got some margaritas in the machine. You know, we can play this little game of pool. And I do want to apologize to you. Which I think is big, right? I think that's really, really dope of him to want to apologize. And I think it's nice of him to want to fix and work on their relationship. Because at the end of the day, they love each other. They are in a union with each other. And you got to make it work. So, I'm glad he sat back, realized what he was wrong in the situation, and is ready to move forward. So, the biggest thing when it comes to them and Eugene, and he said he just really didn't read the room well when it came to that situation. He was joking. She wasn't in the place. And he didn't understand at the time how big of a deal that was for Toya to have the ladies in her house because of a lot of the things that the ladies have said. Or even, child, I done said something about them getting the house too, but I don't know them people like that. So I think that for her, it was a big deal having everybody there. And he just kind of misread those intentions. But one thing that Toya needs to understand is it's not necessarily what she says, it's how she says it. And sometimes when it comes to Toya, like he was playing, he was joking with her. Toya often comes off like she's trying to embarrass or trying to sun Eugene. And then they give us flashbacks of her throwing a biscuit at the man, telling the man to shut up, cussing him out, being disrespectful to him. Like, she emasculates him. And I think Eugene's standpoint is like, he's getting to a point where it's like, you know, the women are starting to bother me a little bit. Like, the other wives are starting to bother me because of how they approach me and how they say things about me. But Eugene, your wife has opened the door for these women to say this. And if Toya would take better care of you as your partner, because she's the one that you're with, if she would do a better job as to showing up for you, then the other ladies would not feel as comfortable to do those things that they are doing. They just wouldn't. So Toya has to do a better job as to cover you in that relationship. And I think that Eugene typically really does a good job of supporting Toya. It just seems like it's not the same. Toya does not really see how she comes off. Because even in her apology to him, it was just like, well, I gotta know and understand that I can't let people get me like that. You know, even if it's you or if it's the other ladies. And it's like, Toya, you're not hearing this. Like, but I do think that she took a step back. Because, you know, when they were talking about putting into the love bank. And she was like, you know, I do a good job of pouring into our kids and giving our kids affirmations. I could do a better job at supporting you. And she was like, even though you're gone, you know, but I do appreciate her acknowledging you're gone a lot because you want to support your family. You want your family to be good. So I'm glad that they did come to that resolution with that. And we knew that they were going to be good. But I just really wish Toya would just take a step back and just see how... Well, I mean, we 12 seasons in. She know how she come off to this man. And I can get where the other ladies are like, well, at this point, he like it. Because she been doing this since day one. So I can understand how some of the ladies feel like, baby, if he like it, I love it. Because honestly, what else are we to do, Eugene? But I'm glad that y'all were able to get some resolve in that and get to an understanding. All right, so she can do a better job of supporting him. That was the only thing I left off of that. But she could do a better job of supporting Eugene. She really, really could. Because I feel like this man, baby, she ain't got to lift a finger. That man gonna take care of her. And it's just like he just can't win for losing with her sometimes. But once again, he like it. We love it. We're going to move on to the next thing. All right, so we pull up to Brandy's house, and she's having like a little pizza party for, her kids, and she invites Dr. Mimi and Angel to her house to just kind of have like a little kids play day, and it was really, really cute. I like this trio. They seem like some fun ladies, seem like some fun girls. I really love Angel. I loved Angel when she was on Basketball Wives. I think the Angel was really, really cool. But the kids. So I didn't realize how close in age Brandy's kids. I honestly look like they were just all the same age. Like that's how close in age they look. Brandy's kids, beautiful, beautiful family. Mother-in-law is gorgeous too. Now, Dr. Mimi, because she was like, oh, you could have brought your son. That's what Brandy was telling her. But I get what Dr. Mimi was coming from. Like, if I had him here, it would have just been too much. I wouldn't have been able to sit here and have conversations with y'all. I would have had to be focused on him to make sure that he's not messing up things, or he's not. And I get she's protecting him and protecting them at the same time. Like, she doesn't want to put anybody, including her baby, in an uncomfortable situation. So I get where she was coming from. So shout out to Dr. Mimi, Brandy, and Angel. Now, as they're having a conversation, right, this trio, I really like it. They're talking to Angel, because, Angel's a single girl. She's out here about the town. We need to get Angel wiped up, because she's stunning. The girl is stunning, body 10s, face out of this world. Girl, and she's smart. She a nurse, baby. The girl got it going on. Her first child's father is a basketball player. I don't know about the second. She didn't really talk about that. But they not really helping her. Man, we got to do a better job of taking care of these kids out here. So, she talks about dating, and she was just like, she just looking for a man that's right for her. I get it. She want him to look good. He ain't got to have no big old baseball bat. That's on her. That's what she said. But she definitely just wants a man that's going to be there to support her and these children. I understand that, girl. You get you a good man. So, they having a conversation, and then they talk about deflecting. And it was like, one thing about Dr. Mimi, baby, she gonna quickly move the subject or gonna deflect. And Mimi said, no, I don't deflect. I know how to keep this moving. I know how to give y'all some of my information, but I know how to keep some to myself. And she was like, speaking of learning how to keep something to yourself and deflecting, she said, we all know who the one that's deflecting, and baby, it's Toya. And, they're rehashing the pool party, and Mimi was a little taken aback. And honestly, all the ladies were, because they were like, Toya, we weren't coming at your marriage like that. We are just seeing how you and your husband are interacting in front of all of us, instead of it being a situation of like, hey, baby, come holler at me real quick, because what's going on right here, we're not going to do this in front of all these people. I just need you to support me. In this moment. So I think that Toya misread some of the ladies. I think Mimi was just kind of coming from a place of like, girl, what's going on? This is how they normally interact with each other. And I think, that was Brandy's first interaction with them doing that too. And even Angel, I don't think that they were judging the marriage per se. And I don't think that they were disrespecting her marriage. I think that they were just kind of like, girl, you doing a lot in front of your friends, family, and folks here watching you on the TV. You got to bring it down when it comes to you and your man a little bit. Because typically when it comes to those situations, Toya be the one that get it started. She really do. But, Mimi had let it be known. Child, she was talking about she kicking us out of her house. Baby, Mimi said, I've been kicked out of worse by better, baby. She said, I got to get on up out of here. So she quickly grabbed herself, grabbed her man, and she was out that beautiful home's door. And I get where she coming from. I understand every piece of it, because you ain't finna put me out. You ain't gonna put me out, baby. I'm gonna walk out on my own volition. You not finna put me out. Now, this house is lovely, but it ain't that nice for you to be trying to put me out. I don't know what you think this is. You better zip this zipper down, baby, because this is definitely off the runway. Doggone, I closed my notes. Hold on, y'all. Where we at? Okay, Toya. No, not Toya. Dr. Simone. Dr. Simone and her sister meet up. Her sister is gorgeous. And I love her sister's speaking voice. Like, I really, really enjoyed listening to her sister Carmen talk. Like, I love it. It was such a beautiful speaking voice. Really, really love that. So, they dive into the blow up that Simone had on Cecil and their sons, right? And essentially, Simone is feeling disrespected. She felt disrespected by her son, and she felt like Cecil just kind of took his side instead of understanding her perspective on it. And we talked about this, but basically I feel like Simone feels she has nothing left for her, and she always gives it to them. And who's there to pick up the pieces for her? Who's there to support her? And I can understand her feeling disrespected by that. I think that Cecil has to do a better job of showing up for his wife. And, when Simone was breaking down, how Cecil's father was, his father was, really, really strict on them, was very hard on them. And she said Cecil is basically doing the complete opposite. So by him being the passive parent, just using that as an example, it makes her be the military sergeant in the situation, and she's the one that's really strict because she has to be, because he gives them everything, so she has to form some sort of structure. So I think it puts her in an uncomfortable place, and I think she feels like, hey, you can support me, or you can also be in this space with me, because I'm the one that's left on the island by myself, because you were always agreeing with them, because you necessarily maybe don't want that relationship with your kids that you and your father possibly had. But Cecil, that's not on her to be the tough one every time. Like, she doesn't have to be the strict one. You can support her in some of that. And I really enjoyed that parallel that she broke down when it came to that. Now, when it comes to Cecil and his brother, now they were having a conversation. I got to give his brother a huge shout out, because his brother was like, all right, Cecil, you talking nice, but you need to hear some of this stuff, bro. Like, you out here trying to make it seem like, me and you ain't grow up in the same house. And his brother was like, I hear what you're saying. Simone is a phenomenal woman. She's a phenomenal wife. And dude, you need to support your wife. Because at the end of the day, when I took marriage and family, what was it? Marriage and family psychology or something like that. And at college, I remember one of the conversations that my professor was having with us, and say how common it is for couples to get divorces when their kids go off to school. Because once people get married and they have kids, you sometimes forget about feeding or fueling that relationship that you have with your partner, because that's still another relationship that you have to make sure is good, right? And because when people have kids, they put so much into their kids. So when the kids go off to school and they're left at home, the couple's like, hey, wait, I don't know who this person is. You know what? I just realized I don't like the way you eat cereal. I don't like the way you drink a glass of milk. I don't like the way you sip champagne. And they tend to get divorces because they just simply don't know who the other person is. And I think what his Cecil's brother is trying to get him to see is, you need to make sure your wife is good. Because if your wife is having issues with you giving the boys money, then you should have an issue with giving them money. You should figure out, y'all need to come to an agreement to figure out what money or what giving the money is going to look like. And I get what Cecil's saying, and I agree. As black people, sometimes we feel like everybody has to go through the struggle. And we have to get out of that. That's the slave mentality that a lot of us have just been going through, that we feel like our kids or the generations under us have to go through the same struggles. I want to be in a place when or if I have children, my kids, I don't want them to struggle, right? I want them to be responsible. I want them to be productive human beings out here on this world and on this earth. But I don't want them to have to go through some of the struggles that I necessarily went through. So if I'm able to foot the bill for certain things for them to be successful, then by all means I can do that. And that's what Cecil is saying. But what Simone is also saying, to what end? Because Cecil is acting like it's just a never-ending cash flow. And Simone is like, now hold on. We can't give them everything and leave us with nothing. So you have to teach them to be young men. You have to teach them to grow up at some point. And like his brother said, your sons will be all right. Y'all have raised them. They'll be good. You need to make sure your wife is good. I hear what you're saying. And when his brother was like, you are saying a lot of I. He said, dude, it's not I. It's a y'all. It's a we. Y'all in that thing together. Yeah, his brother was all right. His brother all right with me. So I really, really enjoyed that conversation that they had. And, and even going back to Simone and her sister, seeing Simone break down, when it hurt my heart a little bit to see her break down, because she doesn't want her marriage to be over, but Cecil needs to know and show up and support her when it comes to those boys. Yes, you want to be that father. Yes, you want to make sure that they have everything, and yes, y'all do got it. So give some of it to them, right? But you can't give them their all. And then also too, Simone probably feels like, yeah, we giving them this stuff, but like, let's say it's supposed to, and I don't know this is just me giving a hypothetical. Let's say it's supposed to take them 4 years to get a degree. And it takes them 8. Simone is like, now look, I done gave you everything I was supposed to give you. I done gave you that plus some. y'all over here playing because y'all not taking it serious because you know it's just gonna always take care of it. And I think that that's more so what she's trying to do. She's trying to get them more financially stable, and Cecil's like, well, we got it, so they'll be fine. Nah, you ain't gonna have it forever. Or there'll be one day that, Lord forbid, y'all are going to no longer be on this planet and the boys are gonna have to figure it out on their own. You need to prepare them for that. So you need to prepare them for that. So yeah, that's just my thing when it comes to them two. And they gonna work it out because, you know, they don't have them, let's sit down. But yeah, that's something that they definitely need to work through. All right, so we see King and Quad. I'm gonna say Kwang. King and Quad, they are getting ready to go to Ghana because, you know, that's where her fertility specialist is for her IVF. And I'm gonna be real, I ain't really like this conversation between them two. I felt like, or I feel like King is more so like kind of over it. I feel like he's not as supportive in this journey as he was in the beginning. I think that maybe he just thought it was gonna be like a one and done situation. He kind of says that, and it's like multiple trips. I have had friends who've gone through IVF. It is expensive, and sometimes it doesn't take. So you have to do multiple rounds of IVF. That's really, really expensive. And on top of that, because she's having to keep going back, I don't know what her stage is or what everything is looking like for her. All those trips to Ghana, so I already know it's IVF on its own is expensive. On top of that, she's flying to Ghana to get this stuff. That's a lot of money. And it seems like, you know, it's a choice that she's making. So maybe insurance isn't even covering any of it. So that's tough. Quad wants a baby. You know, one thing I'm shocked about, and maybe she has, I don't know. I'm kind of shocked that Quad doesn't have eggs frozen. For the way it seems as if she didn't, but Quad just always gave me that she would have had like eggs frozen and that she would have been good. So I'm really shocked that Quad did not freeze eggs. And I look at Quad sometimes, I'm like, girl, like you did all of that talking, all of that playing when you were with Greg. And then now, y'all, I'm sweating. I forgot to turn my air on, but we too far in. We 17 minutes in this game, baby. So we're going to pat this head and we're going to do what we got to do. But I just wish she would have taken that situation a little bit more serious. I don't know. Like, I wish she would have frozen her eggs. But I mean, she is a woman. She's grown. She could do whatever she wants to do. Her body, her choice. But I really hope it works out for him. I think that King is kind of getting to a place where he's like, I'm in this journey with you. I want this baby, but maybe it's kind of time for us to look at some other options or to figure other things out because it might not pan out the way that we're thinking it's going to pan out. They saying things look good, but I kind of get what he's saying. So my heart goes out to him. I want them to figure that out, but Quad, I ain't gonna even hold you, girl. This situation with you and him got me a little nervous. I don't know. And, you know, he has a child already, so I think it hits different. And she wants a baby, but yeah, Quad, I don't know, girl. Ugh. You and him will have to definitely figure that thing there out. Hope it works out for y'all. All right, so Simone is having her party. Now, Simone was messy for this party. Simone is having her party, baby, a bag party. She said, baby, I'm going to have everybody going to come right here and make them a little piece of bag. Since the girls want to talk about fake bags, I'm going to put together this party and we can make real leather goods. We can make real leather bags right here. So who's the first person that walked in the door? Toya, old messy self. Baby, Toya walked in here and said, hey, I got this little, because this lady keep leaving this little cheap, this off-brand, this knockoff bag at my house. So, you know, I'm just gonna definitely bring it in here to this shop. You know, maybe y'all could appraise it. You know, you can see what type of leather this is. Is it leather? Is it plastic? Is it pleather? You know, Toya was just being real messy. Simone said, baby, just go and change. Just go put you on some good classy clothes because you just getting it started. And I'm here for it, Toya. Because Toya said, you know what? I'm gonna ride I'm gonna ride this train till the wheels fall off. I'm with her on that. So, you know, on the way to the party, we see Mimi and we see DrHeavenly riding on their way to the party. You know, they're in the car and they're talking about the whole group chat situation because all the ladies are in the group chat. And of course, anything that Toya and Heavenly gonna be in together, you already know it's gonna be calamity, baby. Because one thing about them, they gonna get it started. Them two gonna get it activated for sure. So you know, they was Father's Day. Everybody's pouring into each other. Hey, girl, tell your dad, your husband, whoever, happy Father's Day. That's how it's going. Everybody just pouring into each other. You know, Toya give a real beautiful, classy message. Here come Heavenly. Well, you need to make sure you tell your man that on camera. Now, Heavenly, right message, wrong messenger. You and this lady just got into it at her house, and she said stop talking about her man. Y'all just got into it at her house because you keep commenting on her marriage. You shouldn't have said nothing, Heavenly. That wasn't for you to say. And you know this lady got your fake bag, so you already know she finna tear you up. And I'm here for it. Toya said, I know how to back you on up off of me, and I'm here for every piece of that, Miss Toya. But Toya, you did get it started with the fake bag stuff in the beginning. So we got to start from the top. We got to start at number 1. We can't start at number 20. We got to start from number 1, Toya. And you started off with that, whose fake bag is this? In the group chat, you was being messy. All right, so, you know, Heavenly is filling Dr. Mimi in on all of the tea when it comes to their marriage as far as Toya and Eugene. We already know all of that. We ain't finna rehash it. But, Toya, you do have this way of embarrassing your man. So, do I think that Heavenly was just... Yes, do I think Heavenly was being messy? For sure. But do I think the message was nice? Yes, I do think that message is a good message to tell Toya. It just didn't need to come from Heavenly. It could have came from somebody else, and not in that setting. It could have been a different setting, not in the group chat. Now, the ladies are showing up, and whatever to the party. Everybody's looking good. You know, Angel is there. Apparently, Toya was trying to set Angel up with one of her doctor friends. I love that. Toya looks like she'll be a good matchmaker. She really, really does. Toya actually seems like he should be mad cool. Like, Toya's that one, real talk, if I was to ever, like, do something like major, Lord willing, thank you, Lord, we're going to speak it into existence. When I do something major, I would love to have some cocktails with good old Miss Toya. Toya seems like she is a hoot and a half, baby. I would love to hang out with her. So, you know, everybody's showing up. Everybody's looking good for the most part. And then here comes Contessa. It wasn't that Contessa look was bad, but I do have to agree with Contessa. With Dr. Heavenly. Dr. Contessa is a beautiful woman. She just doesn't dress. She will have pieces, right? But it just, something about it just always looks off. Something about Dr. Contessa just always looks off. Or like, there'll be a party and like, it'll be a theme, and then it just seemed like she just went to Party City and bought every piece of Party City fake whatever they had. Like, it's always something with her, right? Like, Dr. Contessa just always something's just a little bit off. So when it comes to the ones that can't dress, it's gonna be Heavenly and it's gonna be Dr. Contessa. Them two can't dress. Heavenly is getting... Never mind. I was gonna say she getting there, but child, I can't lie. I don't think she's getting there. I think she's starting to get some pieces, real or fake. I think she's starting to get some pieces, but I digress. I digress. So, you know, everybody getting there. So they're having a good time. They're having a good time. The Heavenly Shade was always cute and on point. So we see Dr. Eugene is, not Dr. Eugene, Dr. Scott is having all of the men over to his house, having a little barbecue. They finna catch up. Love those scenes. Everybody looks cool. Now, I like when the guys get together, but, you know, Dr. Eugene is telling Scott, like, hey, you know, Toya went to look at the space. She hated the space, so we will not be moving forward with that. I wonder how that situation with Scott, Contessa, Eugene, and Toya is going to go. Because it doesn't seem like Toya had that conversation with Contessa, and I can see it. I can see some of the verbiage not being delivered the right way to Contessa from Toya. I can see Toya maybe throwing a little shade and it won't be needed. And you know, Louis Armstrong or whatever Contessa is, she gonna be ready to knuck if you buck. So hopefully that conversation goes well. But we already know with them two, you can, baby, we gotta be on high alert because we really don't know. Long story short, you know, let's fast forward this thing. So Eugene is talking to the guys and he's like, look, I'm starting to feel emasculated by a lot of the wives. You know, they're not saying things to me, but they're saying things about me and it's getting to me. So Eugene, here's the thing. It's Toya's job to protect you. Toya started with the ladies. The ladies will come back because you're an easier target for them. You're easy targets. Also, too, Toya puts the information out there for them to comment on. So when it came to your your unit size, right? Toya put that out there saying that she didn't know once you get married that they didn't get any bigger, which led the ladies to feel as if you have a small member. All right. Toya emasculates you on the camera, which allows the women to feel like they can emasculate you as well. Toya has to protect you first, and then it can go from there. And I'm with the guys. Every man has been on the chopping block from these ladies at some point in time. But the only difference between the rest of them, for the most part, is that Toya puts you down on TV versus the rest of the wives don't do that to their husbands. They might have a conversation with their girlfriends about, man, he don't work my nerves or whatever. But when they get back to him, they're going to stand 10 toes. They're going to stand beside their man. They're going to stick beside him. You seem to have a different perspective on that. So, we going back to the thing. We're seeing the ladies get into it, and Toya and Heavenly started getting into it when Toya was like, oh, hey, girl, this is that fake bag. Toya, here you go, Heavenly, just in case you want to use this as an inspiration. And, Heavenly was like, I ain't worried about that. I got houses, baby. I got degrees. I got accolades. I got all these things. I already knew when it comes to them two, they oil and vinegar, and they going to always pop off at each other. And real talk, I love to see it because it keeps me entertained. But I hate how nasty they go. And I'm with DrJackie on this. And essentially, it seems as if for some reason they are committed into just being nasty and being rude to each other. And DrJackie, when she kind of broke the scene up and she was just like, look, y'all, we have seen each other through a lot of stuff. I hate how hard we going at each other about something that's just stupid. Like, y'all are literally beefing about a fake bag. It's not that deep. And I love when Jackie said to Heavenly, just because somebody throws a rock, that does not mean that you have to throw a boulder. But also, too, in Heavenly's defense, you can't shade me because my shade probably gonna be greater. So if you can't handle the shade I'm finna throw at you, then don't step in the ring with me. So I can see it both ways. But Heavenly truly needs to understand that you don't always have to comment and respond. You don't always have to give them that energy. And I think that that's one of Heavenly's misses. Like, she feels like she always has to give a rebuttal. She always has to say something. And Heavenly, you don't always have to do it. You can let some of the stuff go. Like, just let it go. It's not that deep. Just leave it be and let it go. Let it go. And y'all, that's essentially where the episode ends. I thought it was a great episode. Great way for them to welcome us back. Do I think that Heavenly and Tessa, Heavenly and Toya are going to work through it? Nah, baby, they're going to still be shaded because Heavenly was shaded her confessional. So they still not going to be good. And that's all right with me, baby, because we need some action on this good old show because we like a little boom. We like a little boom, boom, pow. But y'all, thank y'all so much for joining me on this journey that I'm on. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, share with the family member, share with a friend so we can grow our community over here. And I think I'm going to go ahead and drop Real Housewives of Potomac here in a couple of hours too. So come on back for that. And I will see y'all next time. Have a good one, everybody.